Hello, everyone. Welcome to English for You. I'm Mike.
And I'm Reese.
And we are still glamping. Well, we're not glamping. We're reading about glamping. I don't think the magazine's going to pay us to go glamping, are they?
They might do maybe for our annual company get together.
Perhaps. Oh no, I thought they should send us like yesterday for research.
Oh, that sounds
fun.
So
we can get a free glamping trip out of our wonderful article. Because so far, what we've learned about glamping makes me, someone who hates the idea of camping, kind of go, maybe I think I'll try it. You know, the idea of sleeping in a tent and having bugs and no air conditioner and having to go to the bathroom in a river. I don't know where you go to the bathroom in the woods. But all of that doesn't really appeal to me. But glamping is a little bit more high class, I guess you could say. It's glamorous camping.
Yeah, glamping is a bit nicer than camping. You're going to have more of the home comforts that you're used to having in hotels, for example.
Ooh, I like that. I like hotels.
But you're out in nature. You can see the trees and the stars. And perhaps if you're lucky, you'll have a room with a glass wall with animals coming up and peering inside.
I have a room, not even just a tent?
That's it. Well, we're going to find out more today in the article about what glamping is and exactly how it's different from regular camping.
All right.
We know it means glamorous camping, so there's got to be some glam
to
this form of camping.
Reading. Glamping provides the best of both worlds. You may wonder exactly how glamping is different from regular camping. A lot of it boils down to the facilities that are provided. In order to understand more, let's take a look at what can be expected from a typical glamping location. Forget the struggle of setting up your own tent. A fancier tent is waiting for you, usually with comforts such as electricity. You can control the temperature. This means you can enjoy the outdoors even during your least favorite season. Never mind that old, uncomfortable sleeping bag that smells rotten. Glampers enjoy sleeping on a proper bed. Of course, nearly everyone loves cooking on a fire, so glamping usually includes a fire pit. But what about other ways of cooking, such as with a gas or wood stove? Glamping has you covered. So, if you love nature but are turned off by regular camping, you may want to give glamping a try.
Okay, so yes, we've talked about glamping, we've talked about camping. Most of you already know what camping is. If you haven't done it, I'm sure you're familiar with it. But glamping, we know it's glamorous, we know it's high class, it's a little fancier, but what exactly does it mean? If we went glamping next weekend, what are the things we would expect to see and experience, and how are those different from camping? So let's find out about that stuff.
Well, that's exactly what the first part of day 2 says in the article. It says, you may wonder exactly how glamping is different from regular camping. Well, yes, we do wonder that, but before we look at those differences, let's find out about the word regular. Regular is an adjective that means not special, the normal way, or the way that is expected. When we talk about regular camping, we mean the kind of camping you think of when you think of camping. Tents, tiny chairs, sleeping on the ground. So if glamping is different from regular camping, that means it's not the same. We can describe many other things as regular. For example, you could have a regular day at school. That means it was a normal day and nothing special happened. Or I could say, my dad is just a regular guy. He doesn't have an amazing job or lots of money, but he's an excellent father.
Okay.
Here's an example sentence with regular. Classes will return to their regular schedule after the Lunar New Year break.
Okay, normal, common, what you expect. Nothing strange or weird or unusual here.
No, not good or bad, just the way we expect.
It's all very regular. All right, so yes, that's a regular camping trip. You got your tent, your little chair, your sleeping bag on the ground, you're cooking over a fire, that kind of stuff.
The stuff you hate.
The stuff that I didn't really enjoy. Well, we didn't get the food. We couldn't light a fire. We were sleeping in a river, not on the ground. So yeah, it was a little bit of a different experience for me. So let's find out about glamping. What would a normal or regular glamping trip be like, and how would that be different from camping? Well, it says a lot of it boils down to the facilities that are provided. Okay, so a lot of the differences between camping and glamping boil down to the facilities that are provided. No, we're not boiling water here over our stove or over our fire to cook soup or something like that. When we use this expression, it boils down to, we're basically saying when you get to the most important parts, when you get to the most essential parts, this is what we're talking about. If you're cooking and you want to get the flavor in your food stronger, you boil down the water a little bit, right? You get rid of the water and the food, the flavor in that sauce or that soup gets more concentrated. That's the important stuff. That's the stuff that you really want. That's the stuff you're really paying attention to. So when we talk about a problem, well, what's your problem? Well, my problem boils down to the fact that I don't have enough money to go glamping this weekend. I could explain to you how I'm waiting for this guy to pay me and how my sister owes me money, but I won't give you the details. I'll just give you the basic facts. I don't have enough money. It boils down to that. So we're getting to the main, most important point. And the most important point of the differences between glamping and camping? The facilities. What are facilities? Well, the things around you, the things that you can use. If you go to a normal campsite, these days, they probably won't have many facilities. They might have a place for bathrooms, they might have some water, they might have some special areas for cooking, but that's about it. That's about everything that they will give you. You have to bring the tent, the sleeping bag, the food, everything you cook with, all of that stuff. That's not part of it. So the facilities would be the things there for the guests or the tourists or others to enjoy.
And actually, sometimes we can use the facilities to be a synonym for bathroom specifically.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I can say, hey, Mike, do you know where the facilities are? I'm actually asking, where's the bathroom?
Yeah.
Even though bathroom is just one kind of facility.
True. And other hotels will advertise they have a gym, a swimming pool, a coffee shop, a 24-hour restaurant. These also would be facilities, things that are there for people to use and enjoy.
Exactly. Well, back to the article. It says, in order to understand more, let's take a look at what can be expected from a typical glamping location. Okay, so finally we're getting to learn about what exactly makes glamping glamping. One more thing before that, though, is the phrase in order to. In order to basically just means so that. For example, you must open the bottle in order to drink the water, so that you can drink the water. Or, if this is the result you are looking for, in order to go to the concert, you need to buy tickets early. If you want to go to the concert, you need to buy tickets early.
Yes, you definitely do. Yeah, otherwise you'll miss out. So let's talk about glamping. There we are. We've arranged our glamping vacation. We've driven out to the countryside somewhere. What are we going to see and do, and how will it be different? Well, the article continues and says, forget the struggle of setting up your own tent. Yay! A fancier tent is waiting for you, usually with comforts such as electricity. Wow, okay, so that's a big difference from camping. You will have a tent, but it won't be the tent that you guys and I know, the tent that you bring yourself, that you put up yourself, that you can fit 3, 4, 6 people into. It's usually quite small. It's usually made of plastic or something like that. It's to keep the rain off your head and the rain off the ground underneath you, but that's about it. Inside the tent, it will be, kind of warm probably. It might smell of plastic or something like that, but you won't find rooms in the tent generally. You certainly won't find a lot of furniture, tables and chairs in the tent. And forget about plugging in your Xbox or your television or your computer. There's no electricity in there. So that's what we're going to be finding about in the glamping tent. It will have many other things. But a tent is a very simple structure that you can carry around with you, fold down and put into a bag, put up and put out in the campsite, in the forest or whatever, sleep inside, but it really is just there to keep the rain off your head. For example, you should practice putting up your new tent before you go on a camping trip.
That's very good advice, because if you're stuck out in the woods and you don't know how to put up your tent, you'll be sleeping with the bugs.
Especially if it's nighttime or something like that, yeah.
It gets pretty cold too.
Right, those tents can be kind of like puzzles to put up.
They can.
But this tent is already put up for you.
It is. That's because we're glamping, which is a very fancy experience. The word fancy is an adjective that means elaborate in structure or design. If something is described as fancy, that thing might look very nice and expensive and complicated. We often describe houses or clothes as being fancy, something that looks like it cost a lot of money and was made excellently. You can describe people as being fancy too. If they wear expensive things and go to expensive places, they might be a very fancy person. Here's an example sentence of a fancy person. My Aunt Kathy is so fancy. She only eats at expensive restaurants and even has her own driver.
Wow, fancy Auntie Kathy. So, has she ever been glamping?
She would not even go glamping. She only stays in 5-star hotels.
So only if they built the 5-star hotel in the forest would your Aunt Kathy go there. I think I kind of like Aunt Kathy. All right, let's get back to our article. We also talked about comforts there. Yeah, in the glamping tent, this fancy glamping tent, you will have comforts such as electricity. Well, electricity is something that we use, and it brings a lot of convenience and ease to our life, right? We can plug our machines in. We use it for lights. We use it to recharge our phones, all sorts of things like that. So having electricity at home is a wonderful thing, and you realize how wonderful it is when you lose it, when there's a power failure or something like that. So that's why we kind of call it a comfort. A comfort is something in your life that you've become used to, but you only notice how wonderful and good it is when it's taken away from you. When you travel, it's wonderful. It's great going to new places, new countries, staying in new cities and stuff like that. But after a few days away, you might miss the comforts of home, being in your own place, having your favorite chair, your comfortable bed, all of the food and your favorite snacks in the kitchen. All of those kinds of things are comforts. We often talk about the comforts of home. Comfortable sofas, safe place to stay, clean apartment, clean home, all of that stuff. Those could be considered comforts or things that make our lives more comfortable. Now, if you're out in the woods, things might not be as comfortable as they are at home, but having electricity there so you have lights at night and stuff like that, that would definitely be a comfort, something that would make your life easier. All right, next we go on to the article, and we have an example sentence I should mention for this word, comfort. For astronauts on the International Space Station, life doesn't come with many comforts. Well, yeah, it's kind of like camping. Going to space is exciting and interesting and all that, but it's not comfortable.
Yeah, I know that pooping in space can be quite problematic.
My gosh, peeing, sleeping, even your food tastes weird.
Yeah, floating around as well.
Yeah.
Well, in the article now, we can understand some of the reasons why glamping is more comfortable.
I have electricity, so I'm already a little bit happier. What else?
We can also, it says you can control the temperature.
No.
This means you can enjoy the outdoors even during your least favorite season.
You mean in summer they have air conditioning?
Exactly. And in the winter, they probably have heating.
That's cool.
You won't find that in a regular old tent.
All right. Well, that is definitely fancier than normal camping. I think this glamping thing really deserves that name. And here's another good one. Never mind that old, uncomfortable sleeping bag that smells rotten. Glampers enjoy sleeping on a proper bed. So they'll actually carry a bed all the way out there and put it in the forest for you. You can sleep on a comfortable hotel-style bed, and that's why it says, never mind, you can forget about, don't worry about sleeping in that old, uncomfortable sleeping bag that smells rotten. It smells rotten probably because you had it rolled up in a bag in your closet since last summer, and you didn't clean it or something like that. Basically, it smells bad. When something is rotten, it could actually be rotten. When things get rotten, they're living things that are now dead, and they're starting to break down and decompose because of, nature. When you smell bad food in your fridge, there's something rotten. That chicken that you bought 2 weeks ago and you never cooked, yeah, it's still sitting back there in a bowl, and it's gone bad. It's turning yellow and all sorts of weird colors. It smells terrible, and of course, you don't want to eat it because it would be very bad for you. So things that are rotten generally are, breaking down, falling apart in a natural way, and kind of like what we mean here with the sleeping bag, a lot of the time they smell really, really bad. Here's an example. Blake left a rotten banana in his school bag, and now everything stinks. Good job, Blake.
I like the word rotten.
Yeah?
My grandfather used to use this word way too much.
Really?
Rotten can also mean just like bad.
Okay.
So you could describe a child as being a rotten child.
I like that.
So it's just a very badly behaved little boy, and my grandfather would always refer to my brothers and sisters, definitely not me.
No, you're an angel.
I was a good child.
Yes.
Those rotten children, he would say.
Your rotten siblings. Reese, why are you so perfect?
I was just such a good kid. Well, back to the article, and another advantage of glamping comes in the form of a way of cooking. Of course, nearly everyone loves cooking on a fire, so glamping usually includes a fire pit.
Oh, cool.
But what about other ways of cooking, such as with a gas or wood stove? Glamping has you covered. Wow. So not only can you cook over an open fire, but you can probably even cook using an oven or a stove like you might have in your kitchen at home.
Wow.
So the options for making food are numerous. Well, the article said that you probably will have a fire pit. A fire pit is a hole in the ground where you can make a fire. You can buy special fire pits that are above the ground too. It's like a big metal bowl that you fill with wood to burn. And I'm assuming if you're going camping, they're probably going to have a nicer fire pit than just a hole in the ground. The pit is important because it stops the fire from spreading to other places. It's very important when you're camping or glamping because trees can catch fire because they're made of wood. So what is a pit? Well, it's just a hole in the ground. We can also use the word pit to talk about a smaller hole or depression in something. A pit usually slopes slowly down and then slowly back up. It's not like a deep hole that suddenly drops.
It's more of kind of a bowl shape or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For an example sentence, I could say that my dog buries all of his toys in a pit in the backyard. We also saw the phrase, have you covered? To be covered means that everything has been arranged and taken care of. So the article said, glamping has you covered. It's explaining that you don't need to worry about anything, like not having stuff to cook with, because glamping is an experience that already has those things. For example, if I go to lunch with Mike and he says, don't worry, Reese, I've got you covered, that means Mike is going to pay for my lunch.
Yeah, okay.
You got me covered?
Yeah, I got you covered.
Yeah, you'll take care of it?
Absolutely.
All right, thanks.
But
man.
I forgot my umbrella, so if it starts raining, you have to have me covered.
I've got you covered. I've got 2 umbrellas.
Fantastic. All right, let's get back to the article. So there you go. You got a fancy tent. You've got your electricity. You've got your wonderful hotel bed. You've got your fire pit and possibly even professional chefs there to prepare your food for you. So all of these things, these are all part of the glamping experience. So as we wrap up, the article says, so if you love nature, I do, but are turned off by regular camping, I am, you may want to give glamping a try. I will! So yes, definitely, I do like nature. I think nature is very lovely and interesting. I love watching, those nature documentaries on TV and stuff like that. But regular camping, it does kind of turn me off. If something turns you off, or if you're turned off by something, then that means basically you don't really like it. It might be other things people like. Maybe you liked it before, but perhaps because of an experience or just your personal taste, you don't really like it. It turns you off. But if you do want to try something, you might want to give something a try. To give something a try basically just means to try something. So I am definitely willing to give glamping a try.
It does sound pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
I know that at the start of this 2-day article, I was pro-regular camping.
Okay.
But by the end of it, I'm leaning towards glamping now. You know, I do
You're
love...
glamping curious, huh?
Yeah, like watching nature from a soft, warm bed.
Yeah.
That sounds like the best of both worlds.
And I imagine with most of these things, if they take a lot of time to make a place for glamping, it's probably pretty beautiful. So I would imagine most of these places would be in a lovely location with great views and stuff like that too. So it would probably be a wonderful outdoor experience. All right, guys, that's all the time we have for our article, but we do have time for our chat. So let's take a quick break and then come back and do that.
For You Chat.
All right, so our chat question is about glamping and kind of how we feel about it. Have you ever tried glamping, or would you like to try it? And then explain your answer.
I have never been glamping. I've had the opportunity to go a few times. I think Taiwan has a few glamping spots.
Nice.
The thing that turns me off glamping is that it can be quite expensive.
It can, yes.
Sometimes even more expensive than a hotel.
Well, they had to bring that whole bed out to the top of the mountain.
I guess so, but it still doesn't have all the facilities of a hotel,
true.
like a swimming pool
That's
or
true.
a gym.
And mosquitoes probably will come in your fancy tent anyways.
Exactly. I would like to try, and I do follow some Instagram accounts that show pictures of famous glamping spots around the world. There's one particular spot, which I think is in Scandinavia somewhere, where you're staying in a building that's got 4 walls of glass.
Wow.
You can look out, but people cannot look in.
Oh, weird.
So as it turns to night, you can watch the northern lights, the aurora borealis, as it shines in the sky above you, and you're laying in bed and it's warm. And there was one photo I saw where wolves even came over.
Oh my gosh.
And started looking inside. It just sounds like a magical experience.
And you're safe inside your wonderful tent, as it were, or house, or cabana, or hut, or whatever. That does sound really great. I think that would be a wonderful thing about it, not just going there, but shopping online to find which location would have the most beautiful views and stuff like that. So check it out, guys. Try some glamping if you do. You know, maybe send us a message. Tell us what your experience was like. We'd love to hear about it, and we'd love to try it ourselves. So who knows? Maybe next time you're up there glamping, you'll have some neighbors, and it might be one of us. You never know. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Take care. Be well. Don't get eaten by bears, and we'll see you back here very soon for more great articles. Until then, bye-bye.
See you then.
Vocabulary Review.
Regular. This is just regular black coffee, but if you like, you can add milk and sugar to it. Tent. Johnny loves camping, but he hates putting up his tent. The wind always seems to blow it away. Fancy. Dave's car looks very fancy. I'm sure it's very expensive. Comforts. Mary's hotel has many comforts, such as a big bed, a nice couch, and a huge TV. Rotten. I know where that bad smell is coming from. It's those rotten vegetables. Pit. I don't want to climb into that pit. I don't know what's down there.
智慧小补帖
Facility.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作，活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net